afternoon, students. We'll be starting with our chapter 2 of unit 1, from which DirectX is one part and transformation is the second part. So first we'll be starting with DirectX and then we'll be moving on to transformation. This is chapter 2. So first we'll be seeing what is DirectX, what are its problems and what can it perform, then the variations, then how it is applied, all those things, what is the use and everything. So what is DirectX? The problem with DirectX is the PC architecture was never designed as a gaming platform. Yes, whenever PC was, computer was designed, it was never designed as a concept of only gaming console. It was designed on the basis of every mandatory use which it can provide. Machine can be very different from another. So every machine which is developed, every computer system which is developed will be always different. The will what DirectX is giving you is the Windows a desirable platform for game development. It is providing you an platform with the help of Windows in the game development process. Fast, low-level libraries to allow the developer maintain creative freedom over his games. So now DirectX is providing you a rendering library with low-level functions as well as fast optimizations to develop games with creative freedom. Then shift the burden of hardware support from the game developer to the hardware manufacturer. Yes, it is giving you a hardware support, but not in the game development, but from the start of the game manufacturer hardware manufacturing only, so that the manufacturer directly builds the hardware, so the game developer does not has to build a different hardware to design the game. It gives you a multi-level platform, coexist peacefully with other Windows components. Yes, it can work coordinately with other Windows components as well. Now what is the solution of DirectX? Direct access to hardware. It is giving you and direct accessibility to hardware, a common standard which all games and multimedia applications could follow. Now DirectX is giving you an access to hardware wherein it is multi-level platform which is used for games as well as multimedia. Now multimedia here can be videos, audios, music, whatever it is. So it's a combination of games and multimedia applications could be follow a common interface. Now this will be a common single interface with whatever hardware is installed in the PC. So whatever the hardware is, once you have DirectX hardware, what you can do is you can use any game platform or any multimedia application. Provide real-time multimedia and gaming services to programs, graphics, sound, music, input, networking and movie playback. All these multimedia functions can be real-time multimedia as well as gaming services are provided by it. Done by 3 Microsoft employees, Craig Esler, Alex St. John and Eric Engstrom. So these are the 3 person of Microsoft employees who have developed this hardware, that is DirectX. There are 2 parts of DirectX. There are 2 simple parts of DirectX, the runtime and the SDK. Now SDK stands for Software Development Kit. Obviously when you want to run a software, you need a development kit or you need a framework on which your software is going to work. So there are 2 parts in DirectX, runtime which is going to build the program and SDK is on which your program is going to run. Both are free. Yes, SDK and your software development kit and your runtime, both are free. The runtime is what players need to have on their computers in order to play a game. Yes, obviously when you need a runtime, you need to have it in your system so that on which your total hardware is dependent, through which you can play the game. And the SDK is what a programmer needs to create games that use DirectX. Now SDK is a tool which your direct game developer only uses with the use of DirectX, so that he can install the game or he can develop the game. Now Windows XP comes with DirectX 8 runtime automatically installed. It's a 4 MB download if players don't have it. So if they don't have it, they can download it. It's just 4 MB, and if it's already installed automatically, then the version is DirectX 8 version, runtime version. The SDK is over 100 MB to download, and it contains all the headers and libraries you need. Headers means functions, and libraries means the library files which you call during your functioning. This is the difference. Plus documentation, samples, tutorials, tools. Players don't need the SDK, only the runtime. Yes, obviously the player does not need the SDK, they only need the runtime sample to play the game. SDK is used by the developer. SDK is again 100 MB, and DirectX installed is 4 MB. Then most of Windows nowadays use DirectX in some form or another. It is also the technology which powers Microsoft's Xbox. Yes, there is one more function in Microsoft, that is Microsoft Xbox, which is being used nowadays with Windows variations. Now what is DirectX? We'll see it in a diagrammatic format. So you have an Windows Win32 application on which you have a GDI, that is graphical domain. Then you have Windows DDI drivers. You have one interface, and then you have DirectX. Can you all see this DirectX? So DirectX, what it is doing, it has direct input, direct sound 3D, direct draw, direct 3D, direct setup, direct play. So these are the functions on which your interface is going to work. Then they convert with hardware emulation layer and hardware abstraction layer, and then the main hardware, that is video, audio. Now emulation is again the processing, and abstraction is removing that process, that is called as hardware emulation layer and hardware abstraction layer. So this is how your actual DirectX works on. Now terminologies on which it is working, that is API. Every program requires an API, that is application program interface, through which your user is going to play or use the game. So set of routines, protocols and tools for building software application saves the programmer from dealing with implementation. So any game developer who is playing cannot make the changes. The game manufacturer or the game developer only can make the changes. Driver, program that controls the device, acts like a translator between the device and the program that use the devices. Each device has its own specialized command that only its driver knows. In contrast, most programs access devices by using generic commands. The driver therefore accepts generic commands from programmer and then translates them into specialized commands for device. So there is a difference between every program which is being developed for the game. So now only this is known by the driver itself. In contrast, most programs access devices by using generic commands. So normal general commands are used, but if they are not there, then the generic commands are accepted, and that is accepts generic command from a program, then translates them into specialized commands what the user wants for that particular device. Terminology 2 is sound card and video adapter. Sound card is to make it accessible that every sound which is played by the game is acceptable by the microphone or the speaker or connected to a sound input or an manipulate sound stored on a disk. Video adapter, a board that plugs into PC to give it a display capabilities. Yes, we can change that particular mode into a video mode also using those plugs and switches. Modern video adapters contain memory so that computers' RAM is not used for storing displays. In addition, most adapters have their own graphic coprocessor for performing graphics calculations. These adapters are often called graphics accelerators. So modern video adapters nowadays do not require more and more plugs and switches. They also do not eat up RAM, that is computer's memory. In addition, most adapters have their own graphic coprocessor. So they have their own processing which performs graphic calculations. So graphic calculation is converted, and through which you can see the videos anytime visible, just converting it with a USB cable. And these adapters are also known as graphic accelerator, that is graphic changing. Now what is graphic accelerator? A type of video adapter that contains its own processor to boost performance level. To increase the performance level, whatever graphic adapter we are using, that is called as graphic accelerator. These processors are specialized for computing graphical transformations, so they achieve better results than the general purpose CPU used by the computer. Yes, obviously, to increase the throughput of the system, increase the speciality of that particular function, what we can do is, for transformation we use graphic accelerators, and to give a best result out of it. In addition, they free up the computer CPU to execute other commands while the graphics accelerator is handling graphics computation. Yes, if graphics accelerator is handling handling the graphic computation, the other task can be done by the CPU, so it empties the CPU space. Other characteristics that differentiate graphic accelerators are memory, then there is bus, then there is register width. Next is GDI. GDI is graphical device interface, and a Windows standard for representing graphical objects and transmitting them to output devices such as monitors and printers. Yes, the program is running and we have a screen in front of it, that is called as a graphical device interface, which is giving you an interface as an output device through monitors or printers output. Then HEL, COM are more to be discussed later in the further chapters. Now what are the components of DirectX? DirectX graphics contain Direct Draw and Direct 3D. Then you have Direct Input, Direct Play, Direct Audio. Direct Audio again converted into Direct Sound and Direct Music. Then there is Direct Show and Direct Setup. So these are the components which we will be seeing now. Now what is DirectX graphics? So Direct Draw is one and Direct 3D is one. So what does Direct Draw do? A software interface that provides direct access to display devices while containing compatibility with the GDI, and for transferring video processing from a PC CPU to the video adapter. Yes, the conversion which we do from the PC to the video adapter with the help of graphic accelerator, that is being done by the Direct Draw, as well as display control interface. It is done. The standard was first developed by Intel. This standard Direct Draw was developed by Intel company and it is named as Display Control Interface DCI and later supported by Microsoft. So it was first developed by Intel and supported by Microsoft. When the CPU is not busy, the GDI updates the video display. It updates the video upgradations, and if the CPU is busy, the DCI driver allows an application to send update information directly to the video adapter rather than doing on its own. If the CPU is if it is busy, Direct Allow will show an update information so that the system can be updated accordingly. Direct 3D now, an API for manipulating and displaying three-dimensional objects. To show the 3D objects, you have Direct 3D and developed by Microsoft. Direct 3D was developed by Microsoft, and Direct 3D provides programmers with a way of developing 3D programs that you can use whatever graphics acceleration device is installed in the whatever converter or whatever graphic accelerator you have. Rather, Direct 3D allows you to run those 3D programs onto your system. Virtually all 3D accelerator cards for PCs support Direct 3D, and now 3D has Direct 3D accelerator cards also. You can go with that supporters as well. Another 3D standard offering similar functionality is OpenGL. Open Graphic Language is one of the functionality which also can be used to convert 3D standards. Then the next is Direct Input. Enables an application to retrieve data from input devices when the application is in the background. Retrieve the input data, to take the actual the uh, the data which is being inputted by the user. When you want to retrieve, take the data in to the system, or to give it to the system for processing, you need a direct input. Direct play is a media independent networking API that provides networking services at the transport protocol and the session protocol levels. Direct play sessions can be run on TCP IP networks, IPX networks, and over directly connected modems and serial cables. So direct play gives you a function to work according to the networking concerns, as well as with the different modems and serial cables. The next is DirectX audio. Direct sound and direct music are the functions of DirectX audio. Direct show and direct setup. An architecture for streaming media on a Windows platform, we use direct show, that is screensaver, camera, all those things. Direct setup is extremely simple library of functions for installing DirectX on a machine. To install DirectX on a machine, you have direct setup function. It also provides you a way to check version of DirectX that is present. The current version also can be checked through it. Now we'll stop here for this lecture. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.